It is common knowledge that the best horror movies aren't just scary, but the ones that stay lurking your grey matter for years to come. The ones that no matter how hard you try, linger behind your eyelids when you go to sleep. This list of horror movies isn't just a selection of box scares, but instead a tantalizing selection of some of the greatest films the horror genre has ever produced. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, we're going to be counting down our list of the top 5 scariest horror movies you need to watch, part 2. Before we begin, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. Let's jump in. Coming in at 5, Wreck. Before we even begin with this number, if you've ever heard of the remake Quarantine, please pretend it doesn't exist, remove it from your memory right now because I'm about to tell you about its far superior predecessor, Wreck. Released in 2007, this Spanish horror follows a television reporter and cameraman who follow emergency workers into a dark apartment building, now quickly locked inside with all of the residents, as well as something far more terrifying. Not only is the premise alone horrifying, but the film is also the best found footage horror I've ever seen. Wreck ramps up slowly but expertly, and you don't realize how tense you're feeling until it's way too late. It's technically a zombie movie, but it feels more like an infection movie than anything else. It's claustrophobic and holds no escape for the residents or the viewers. Warning, you'll be hiding behind your hands for a lot of this movie, but the last 20 minutes are arguably the most terrifying moments in horror history. Fact. Coming in at 4, Possession. Aside from our next number, Possession is perhaps the most macabre and repulsive film on our entire list, and surprisingly it's the one you probably never even heard of. Released in 1981, Possession follows a woman who begins to exhibit disturbing behaviour after asking her husband for a divorce, and suspicions of infidelity soon give way to something far more sinister. Starring a stellar cast including the legendary Sam Neill, Possession is an incredibly strange and disturbing creature feature that is about the agony of divorce. I love a film with a grander message. It's quite honestly a film like no other. The characters do the opposite of what you expect them to do, and the scenes of bloody horror are just downright terrifying to stomach. It's hard to determine while watching whether you're enjoying it or just tolerating it, but at the end of the day, it's an absolutely horrifying horror movie that deserves its place on our list. It's also perhaps one of the most memorable and puzzling horror films I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. Watch it, you might be disappointed. Coming in at 3, Martyrs. Martyrs is profoundly disturbing to the point that it's almost unwatchable. However, this French film is pure genius and a love letter to hardcore horror fans out there. Released in 2008, it follows a young woman's quest for revenge against the people who kidnapped and tortured her as a child, leading her and a fellow victim on a terrifying journey into the hell of depravity. Martyrs is one of the founders of the extreme horror movement, and it was completely successful in doing so. It is chilling and relentless from start to finish, with an opening sequence that depicts the brutal murder of an entire family, making it perhaps one of the hardest films to stomach in cinematic history. The film takes so many twists and turns, even into the realm of the physical and psychological torture of a young kidnapped woman, forcing you to watch in disbelief as brutal acts are endured, acts that most have never witnessed in their lives. If you can sit through the movie without closing your eyes multiple times, I commend you, but I'm also slightly concerned about you, just saying. Now, the film is a story about revenge, mercy, and humanity's search for meaning. It's torture porn, but with a message, and we're definitely not messing around with this one. If you want to face the challenge, I suggest you watch Martyrs. Just remember, you were warned. Coming in at 2, The Children.
Don't hit kids here, Jonah.
This is one of the most obscure films on our list, but perhaps one of the best British horror movies I've ever seen. You know why? Because the children are the villains. And guys, you know my feelings about children. Not good. Released in 2008, The Children kicks off during a relaxing Christmas vacation before it turns into a terrifying fight for survival as the children quickly begin to turn on their parents. In classic British fashion, the backdrop to the film is a gloomy winter setting for the slow unraveling of the frightening events. It's hard to pinpoint why this film is so good exactly, perhaps because it's a virus film but also a hack and slash, and perhaps there's just something satisfying about seeing 8-year-olds torture their parents, as macabre as that sounds. The Children is incredibly gory and definitely worth your time. Check it out. And finally, coming in at number 1, Suspiria. If you know know me, you'll know that Dario Argento is one of my favorite directors, and Suspiria, in my opinion, is one of his greatest films of all time. Released in 1977, the film follows an American newcomer to a prestigious German ballet academy, who comes to realize that the school is just a front for something far more sinister amid a series of grisly murders. This film is a gory cut above the remake that was released in 2018. Don't watch it, it was and the original was one of the first films at the center of the 1980s video nasty panic. Suspiria is not easy to experience, none of Argento's films are. Its violence is in technicolor and every murder forces you to watch on in agonizing pain from angles only a madman would select, but to top it off, the soundtrack is genius and makes you feel like you just fell into the pit of hell. This film is depraved yet stylish and perhaps one of the most beautiful films I've ever feasted on. It's an experience you don't want to miss, but I can't promise you will enjoy it. After all these years, it is still a nightmare to behold, even for veteran horror lovers. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any horrors that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below and perhaps we can do a part 3. Before we go, I just want to respond to a few comments from part 1 of this list. Huge Soul said, "Scariest thing in this video is Lucy's math." Fair enough, there's a reason I failed math. Twice. Joe Terrence Universe said, "If Lucy says I need to watch, then I will watch." Smart mans. Very smart mans. Amy Corporal said, "Lucy, I love you. You're just like me. Highly addictive and a force to be reckoned with. May our darkness live on for all ages to come." Amy, why aren't we best friends? Come here. Come here. Brian Baker said, "I just watched Goodnight Mummy for the first time this morning. Also, why do I feel like Lucy is about 3.5 feet tall? Love the podcast, Lucy." Yes, Goodnight Mummy, what did you think? Also, I'm actually 3.6 feet. Get it right. Thank you for checking out my podcast. It is much appreciated. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. And until next time, see you later.